The top 10 places we must visit in Scandinavia. Ryan Shirley is here and he's not going to let us down. He never does. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into this video.
What's up guys, my name is Ryan Shirley and I've spent the last few summers exploring Europe's Nordic countries, and I want to show you my favorite places. So here's my Scandinavia top 10.
Excited because I know a lot of these already from a lot of other videos.
Scandinavia has to be one of my all-time favorite regions. It's made up of Norway, Sweden, Finland, Iceland, and Denmark. Now what's super interesting is that all these countries are ranked in the top 10 happiest places in the world. They obviously must be doing something right. Now, aside from being home to the happiest countries, Scandinavia offers some of the world's most unique landscapes, from the fjords of Norway to the sea cliffs of the Faroe Islands. I just can't get enough of this place. Alright, so let's start this video off in the Lofoten Islands. Now, Lofoten is located in northern Norway, and even though it's in the Arctic Circle, it feels like you're on a tropical island there. I was lucky enough to go there about 2 summers ago. We flew in and road tripped through Lofoten. Our first pit stop was at this little fishing village called Henningsfjord.
That's literally one of my favorite places now. Like, in my head, when I'm just walking down the road or the sidewalk, I just say, nobody walks in the road. What are you even saying here? Or, you know, I'm working or just doing random things. I'm thinking of the football pitch, and I'm thinking of Henningsfjord, something like that. But anyways, I'm thinking of that city, and I'm just like, it's just such an amazing place. And I think of like the A and the E together. I forget what it's called, but like it just is always running in my head. It's exciting.
See the world's most scenic football field. When we got there, we sadly didn't have a soccer ball, but we had a good time playing on the field and enjoying the incredible views of Henningsfjord. We kept on driving and made it to the iconic town of Rain. Now when you think of Norway, this is it.
Yep,
it has those red houses surrounded by massive sea mountains. In my opinion, I'd have to say that Rain is the most beautiful town in Lofoten. When I was planning my road trip to Norway, I remember seeing pictures of this place and I just couldn't believe it existed. Now if you want to do an amazing hike, I'd recommend hiking to Kvalvika Beach. Now it's about a 4-kilometer trek, and I promise it's worth it. When you get to the beach, you're going to be amazed by the landscape. It has mountains that reminded me of Switzerland, ocean that looks like the Caribbean, and it's as green as a tropical island. I just can't believe places like this exist, especially in the Arctic Circle. When we were there,
imagine living like in this spot. Like it looked like there's 2 spots, like right here and then over here. It's almost looked like kind of opposite in a sense, but imagine just living there and then on the water, and then you can go inland and just get some food or even fish and get some food, and it's just like you had no worries in the world, just laying there on vacation your whole life is what it would feel like.
Really wanted to get a good vantage point for the sunset, so we hiked up to this vantage point and I just got one of my all-time favorite shots. I mean, I just couldn't believe those colors, from the orange mountain to the green slope to the crystal blue sea. I mean, it was just amazing. After Lofoten, we're gonna head over to the Faroe Islands. Located right between Norway and Iceland in the North Atlantic Ocean, the archipelago is made up of 18 volcanic islands. Now I have to say that the Faroes are home to some of the world's most dramatic landscapes, from sheer sea cliffs to waterfalls straight into the ocean. I mean, the Faroes just have so much to offer. While the islands are part of the Kingdom of Denmark, they are a self-governing archipelago. One of the most scenic...
Wait, so Denmark is over here and they scooped up the Faroe Islands, huh? I wonder if their what do they speak there? And I wonder if it's inspired by, obviously, that's Dutch, you know? No, Danish. Oh my gosh, why did I say Dutch? That's Netherlands. I wonder if they speak that there, or what do they speak there? Interesting.
Places in the Faroe Islands is the Mulafusur waterfall. Now it's located on Vagar Island, and the waterfall descends about 100 feet into the ocean below. I mean, the backdrop of the village with a massive green mountain behind makes for one of the most scenic places on earth. One of my personal favorite places in the Faroe Islands is the sea stacks of Dragonir. I mean, the name itself just sounds freaking epic.
Why does this literally look like a samurai took his sword and just sliced that right in half? It looks like, that's seriously what it looks like. You just like cut a banana like right in half or something, or some fruits, or like, what is it, Fruit Ninja, whatever it was called?
It's this slanted sea rock with a perfect arch right above the cold Atlantic Ocean. This place looked like a scene out of Game of Thrones. I felt like a dragon was going to fly through that arch. Now, while I haven't been to the Faroes yet, it's definitely one of the first places I'm going to travel to once it opens up. I just can't believe how beautiful the Faroe Islands are. Alright, so after, we're going to head...
I know this video is a little bit older, but when he said opens up, was that the whole sea thing going on? Is that why he couldn't go there? Or is the Faroe Islands, is that something that's not really a lot of people travel to frequently?
To Finland. Now, for the past 3 years, Finland has been ranked the happiest country in the world thanks to its wonderful healthcare, education, and obviously its beautiful scenery. On the same note, the capital of Finland, Helsinki, has been ranked the happiest and most livable city in the world. Now, Helsinki is one of the northernmost metropolitan areas. The whole city just has a great vibe to it. I mean, I would love to spend Christmas there. Now, if you want to venture out of Helsinki, you can take a ferry across the Baltic Sea to visit Tallinn, Estonia, or you can even head over to St. Petersburg, Russia. If you want to see some of Finland's nature, you can head up north to visit Lapland. Now, Lapland is Finland's northernmost region and borders Russia, Sweden, and Norway.
That almost would be like one of the most perfect spots to live. It's right next to Tromsø. That's cool. Yeah, so Sweden, Norway, and Russia. That's like a whole mix right there. I wonder if the people in Russia, all the way on the northwestern part, if they're more so like Nordic people in a sense, or are they still Russian, real hardcore Ruski? I wonder.
In the winter months, Lapland becomes a frozen wonderland that looks like something straight out of a Disney movie. Now, if you can handle the cold, Lapland may be one of the best places in the world to see the northern lights. The northern lights are abundant throughout the cold winter months. It can get up to negative 50 degrees Celsius in the winters, so make sure you bundle up. One thing I love about Lapland is the snow-covered trees. They look like something out of a Dr. Seuss book. It's believed that Santa Claus originated in Finland, and with all the reindeers and pine trees, I totally understand why. In the summertime, Lapland becomes a peaceful area with wildlife and endless nature. I really just want to spend some time in Finland, relaxing in a sauna and seeing for myself why Finland is the happiest country in the world.
Does Finland have the right to roam? Is that only in Norway? I wonder if that's like a universal thing for a lot of those countries.
Alright, so after Finland, we're going to head over to the neighboring Sweden to visit Stockholm. Stockholm is Sweden's capital. It's made up of 14 islands and 50 bridges. I was able to visit Stockholm this summer and I was just pleasantly surprised. Compared to other Nordic countries such as Norway and Iceland, I felt like Sweden was much more affordable. I had a good time just walking around the city and using their public transportation. I swear I rode on the world's biggest escalator. The buildings and architecture there are so unique. I mean, it's just such a wonderful city. I think everyone should visit. When I was in Stockholm, I road tripped 5 hours to this little town called Vendalen in the middle of Sweden. I had to go film an interview out there. Anyways, I just had a great time driving. I was just
Wait, if you're there from Vendalen, I think that's what he said, go ahead and comment below. Let me know. I've never heard of that city, or town, or however you want to call it.
Amazed by the endless pine trees that seem to go on forever and ever. It was such a beautiful yet strange place. Alright, so after Sweden, we're going to head over to Lofoten to drive down Norway's craziest road. Now, Lofoten is a small village that's about a 6-hour drive from Oslo. Now, what I think is so scenic about Lofoten is the road that leads down to it. It consists of 27 hairpin turns that descend down the fjord to the village below. When you're at the bottom, you're going to be amazed by the surrounding walls of the fjord. If you're down for a hike, you can trek 12 kilometers to Gjerhabotn, which is this famous for its rock wedge between two cliff walls. Looks a little sketch to me, but hey, I'll send it. After Lofoten, we're going to head over to the nearby Pulpit Rock. Located in the same fjord as Lofoten, Pulpit Rock is a famous flat-top cliff with a straight drop of over 600 meters. To get there, you can park in the base camp and make the 6-kilometer hike. The rock can be super packed, so if you want to avoid the crowds, you can wake up super early and get to Pulpit Rock to enjoy the sunrise. I mean, I can't think of a better place to watch the sunrise. I just can't believe how big the cliff walls are. I mean, it just goes straight down.
That looks like a little tent up there. Looks like someone's like chilling up there in their tent is what that looks like. It's kind of scary how big this is.
The fjord below. It's just such a stunning place. Alright, so another hike to do in Norway is the trek to Trolltunga. Now, Trolltunga is possibly the most iconic rock formation in Norway as it shoots out over 2,000 feet from the lake below. Trolltunga is definitely the hardest hike of the three. It's a 28-kilometer round-trip trek that takes anywhere from 8 to 12 hours to do, so make sure you give yourself plenty of time. You can start the hike at the main trailhead and hike in 14 kilometers in to reach the famous Trolltunga rock. If you go between June 1st and September 30th, you don't need a tour guide, but if you go in the winter months, you definitely need one because it is a little sketch.
That is interesting. And that journey is like a whole work day is what it feels like. Do you just kind of camp out, or are you like walking the entire or hiking the entire time? I mean, I feel like I definitely could do that, but I mean, that's some serious workout right there.
While it is a strenuous hike, it offers some of the best views in Norway. Alright, so after the fjords of Norway, we're going to head over to Iceland to experience the land of fire and ice.
Oh my
I have to
goodness.
say that Iceland is home to some of the world's most unique landscapes. From volcanic craters to a blue lagoon, the country just has so much to offer. I went to Iceland a few years ago and I was just blown away by the country. One of my favorite places was Reynifjara Beach. It's this black sand beach that's about a 2-hour drive from Reykjavik. What I really loved about the beach is the basalt sea stacks in the ocean. It makes you wonder how the Vikings must have felt when they washed up on the Icelandic shores.
Yeah, they're probably thinking those were like gods or something, seeing some black rocks and then black sand. They're probably like, what is this Inish?
After Reynifjara, you can check out Skogafoss waterfall. It's one of the most impressive waterfalls in Iceland with a drop of over 60 meters. You can also drive an hour east on the Ring Road and visit one of the most scenic canyons in Iceland. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it, but it looks like something straight out of a fantasy movie.
No, it looks like the Dimholt Road. If anybody knows who that is, just as if anybody does off the top of your head, I owe you one. That'd be cool if you knew.
Don't be surprised if you see a troll walking around there. If you drive another 3 hours down the Ring Road, you'll reach Stoksnes. It's such a dramatic view with the black sand and the mountain in the background. On the other side of Iceland, you can visit Kirkjufellsfoss. It's this uniquely shaped mountain that looks like Gandalf's hat. There's a waterfall nearby and it makes for an incredible shot. If you go in the wintertime, you might just get lucky and see the Aurora Borealis. There's just so much to see in Iceland, and I hope everyone can see it at least once in their life. Alright, so for our final location, we're going to head back to northern Norway to visit Senya. Now, Senya is Norway's second largest island, and to get there, I flew into Tromsø and rented a car and made the 3-hour drive. The reason I wanted to go to Senya was because I wanted to hike to Segla. Anyways, I drove to this town called Fjordard, and I got to the base of the hike. It was a surprisingly difficult hike, but eventually I made it to the top, and I was just baffled by the view. The rock formation rose hundreds of meters out of the ocean. It was just like nothing I've ever seen before. Now, I was just having an amazing time, and I decided I wanted to spend the night on top of the mountain so I could see the northern lights. All I had was a blanket, and I used my camera bag as a pillar, so I found this little mossy cliff ledge, and I set up camp there and waited for the northern lights to show up. Around 11 p.m., I woke up to the Aurora Borealis above my head. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. They moved.
He's saying he woke up, so he slept right there on that cliff. Imagine if he just thought he was in his bed at home and he rolled over just a little bit. Ryan was going to go off the cliff. That's some serious bold moves right there, man.
Moved surprisingly fast, like snakes in the Arctic sky. And seeing those lights made me feel like a kid again, and it will forever be one of the most special nights of my life. Some nights you don't need to fall asleep to start dreaming.
There are too many places in Scandinavia that are just so perfect. And all the cities that he didn't even mention that weren't even part of this video are just like the other ones that were mentioned. It's just such a beautiful place, and I cannot wait to go to Scandinavia. Guys, let me know your favorite part. Let me know your favorite city. Let me know where you live. I'm excited to learn more about this, guys.